Stop what you are doing right now. I don't care where you are. I don't care what's on your mind. I don't care how many times you've told yourself today that everything is fine, because heaven just interrupted your day to tell you it is not fine, and it knows, and it has already sent the answer. What you are about to hear in the next few minutes was not meant for everyone. It was meant for the one who almost didn't press play. It was meant for the one who is tired in a way that sleep cannot fix. It was meant for you, specifically, deliberately, personally. You. Do not move, do not scroll, do not close this, because what I am about to say to you is the thing you have been waiting to hear your entire life, and heaven only opens this door so wide for so long before the moment passes. Stay, please stay. What you are about to hear is not a sermon, it is not a lecture. It is not a list of things you need to do to be worthy of something you were never supposed to earn in the first place. What this is a visitation. Because right now, in this very moment, as your eyes move across this screen and your heart beats quietly in your chest, something sacred is happening. A door is open, a voice is speaking, and the voice is not distant. It is not behind a cloud. It is not reserved for the pure or the perfect or the people whose lives look clean from the outside. It is here, it is close. It is speaking directly, personally, deliberately to you. Stay with this. Every word that comes next was meant to find you exactly where you are. My child, I see you. Not the version of you that you show to the world. Not the face you put on in the morning before anyone else is awake. Not the brave voice you use when someone asks how you're doing and you say fine. Even when fine is the furthest thing from the truth, you know. I see the version of you that sits in silence at 2 in the morning when the weight of everything becomes too loud to sleep through. I see the hands that fold in the dark when no one is watching. I see the tears that fall in the shower so no one will hear. I see the prayers that felt like they bounced off the ceiling and never went anywhere. I see all of it. And I need you to understand something. Something that the noise of your life may have buried, so deep that you've almost forgotten it's true. I need you to hear this the way you would hear the voice of someone who loves you more than you have ever been loved by any person, any place, any moment in your entire existence. You were not forgotten. You were never forgotten. There is not a single tear you have cried that did not land in my hands. There is not a single night you survived alone that I was not sitting with you in the dark. There is not a single unanswered prayer that went unheard. Every word you ever whispered toward heaven, I caught it, every one. I know what it's been like. I know the sickness that has taken something from you. The diagnosis that changed the way you see the calendar, the mornings that feel heavier than they should, the body that no longer responds the way it once did. I know the grief that moved into your chest like a tenant who refuses to leave. I know the loneliness that can exist even in a room full of people. That particular loneliness that no conversation seems to touch. I know the anxiety that wakes you before the alarm. I know the guilt that follows you like a shadow. I know the shame that tells you that you are too broken, too far gone, too stained for anything holy to want to be near you. I know all of it. And still, I want you to think about something. There was a woman once. You may have heard the story, but hear it now with your whole chest, not just your mind. She had been bleeding for 12 years. 12 years of a body that would not be well. 12 years of spending everything she had on every doctor who said they could help, and none of them could. 12 years of being told by her own culture, her own community, her own religious law that she was unclean, untouchable, that her suffering was, in some twisted way, her fault. That she should keep her distance, keep herself separated from the holy and the whole. 12 years. And then one day, she heard that I was passing through. She didn't have an appointment. She didn't have permission. She didn't have the right credentials or the right background or the right record of behavior to walk up to me directly. She had nothing left but faith. Just one desperate, trembling, wild and reckless belief that if she could just get close enough, if she could just reach through the crowd and touch the edge of my robe, she would be made well. And she did, and she was. I felt the power leave me the moment her fingers grazed the hem of my garment. Not because she earned it, not because she said the right words, not because she was worthy by anyone's standard, but because she believed, because she reached, because in the middle of her worst season, she chose faith over fear, movement over resignation, one more step over giving up. And I stopped in the middle of a crowd because her touch mattered to me, because she mattered to me. She matters to me still, and so do you. So do you. I want you to feel something right now, in your chest, in your hands, in the place that has been numb for so long you've forgotten what it feels like to hope. I want you to feel the first small warmth of something breaking through. Not because of what you've done right, not because you prayed the most perfect prayer, not because you've been faithful enough or strong enough or good enough, but simply because you are here, because you stayed, because you pressed play when something in you said maybe there's still a word for me, maybe there's still something left, maybe. That maybe is faith, and it is enough. I can work with a maybe. And she was not the only one I met in the middle of a storm. Now I need you to stay with me, because what I am about to say in the next few minutes, this is the part that changes things. This is the part that most people don't know, the part about how heaven actually heals, the part about what is happening in this room, right now, while you are listening. If you close this now, you will miss the most important thing I have to say to you today. Stay. You have been told, by the world, by your own mind, by the cruelest voice inside you, that healing is something you have to work for, that it comes to the deserving, that it arrives only after you've suffered long enough, changed enough, proven enough, that you have to reach a certain level of spiritual fitness before heaven will look your way. I need you to let that lie go. Right now, let it fall. Here is the truth about how I heal. It is not loud. It does not always announce itself with thunder. It does not always come in an instant, though sometimes it does, and when it does, nothing in the world can explain it. But more often, my healing moves the way the dawn moves, quietly, gradually, so gently that you almost don't notice the darkness leaving until you look up one morning and realize the light is already here. It moves through your surrender, not your struggle, your surrender. There is a difference. Struggling says, I must fix this myself. Surrendering says, I cannot fix this, but I know who can. And the moment you open your hands, the moment you stop knuckling the weight of everything you've been carrying, that is the moment my grace has room to move. I want you to think of Peter, Simon Peter, the fisherman who became a walker of water. Do you remember the night on the sea? The disciples in the boat, the storm raging, the waves like walls of black water crashing against wood that felt far too thin for survival. And then they saw me, walking toward them on the surface of the water as though the storm was not happening at all. And Peter, impulsive, big-hearted, reckless Peter, called out and said, Lord, if it is you, tell me to come to you on the water. And I said one word, come. And he climbed out of the boat. I want you to sit with what that cost him. Peter was a fisherman. He knew the sea. He knew what happened to men who trusted themselves to water in a storm. Everything in his experience told him this was impossible. Everything in his logic said stay in the boat. But something in him, that trembling, half-terrified, beautiful something, believed, and he stepped out. He walked on water. He actually walked on water. He only began to sink when he took his eyes off me and looked at the storm instead, not because I had moved, not because the power had changed, but because fear broke his focus. And the moment he cried out, the moment he said, Lord, save me, my hand was already there. Already there. I did not wait for him to swim back to the boat on his own. I did not stand at a distance and say, I told you so. I reached out immediately, caught him, and brought him back. And then we walked back to the boat together. That is who I am. That is what I do. And that is what I am doing for you. Right now, in this moment, whether you can feel it or not, whether you believe it fully or only partially, whether your faith is the size of a mountain or the size of the smallest seed you can imagine, I am already reaching. I am already moving toward you across whatever storm is threatening to swallow you whole. Now let me tell you about Lazarus, because some of you listening to this have been in the tomb a long time, not physically, but something in you has died. A dream, a relationship, a sense of purpose, a version of yourself that you grieve quietly because no one else seems to understand what was lost. You have been wrapped in the cloth of disappointment for so long that you've started to believe this is permanent. That the stone in front of the entrance is too heavy to move, that it's simply too late. It was 4 days. 4 days when I finally arrived at the tomb of my friend. 4 days past what anyone considered possible. Mary said, Lord, he already smells. He has been dead 4 days, 4 days past hope, 4 days past medical possibility, 4 days past any reasonable expectation. And I wept. I want you to know that. I wept, not because I didn't know what was about to happen. I did, but because I felt their grief, because their pain mattered to me, because their loss was real, and I did not dismiss it, I did not rush past it, I stood in it with them, and then I called into the tomb, Lazarus, come forth. And he came. The thing that had been buried, the thing that everyone had accepted as finished and over and gone, walked out of the darkness, still wrapped in grave clothes, blinking in the light. I tell you this today because I need you to understand there is nothing in your life that is too far gone for me to call forth. There is no dead place I cannot speak life into. There is no situation that has been in the tomb so long that my voice cannot reach it. There is no stone too heavy for my hands. You may have buried a dream, I can resurrect it. You may have buried your health, I can speak to it. You may have buried your joy, I can call it forth. You may have buried your will to go on, and I am standing at the entrance of that place right now, and I am calling your name. Come forth. Come out of the grave clothes. Come out of the wrappings of defeat and despair and diagnosis and disappointment. Come out, not in your own strength, but in the power of a voice that created the universe with a single word and can certainly create something new in you. Now I want to talk about something that many people look at and see tragedy. 2 marks on my hands. 2 places where iron passed through bone and flesh and left behind something that will never fade. Even now, even in resurrection, even in glory, they remain. And I want you to look at them carefully, because those marks are not a record of defeat. They are the most powerful evidence of love that has ever existed in all of creation. They are the receipt for your healing. They are the price already paid so that you would not have to pay it. Every wound that has ever opened in your body or your soul, I carried it first, I absorbed it. I took the full weight of it into my own frame so that the weight would not have to destroy you. By my stripes, by the marks left in my body, you are healed. This is not poetry. This is not metaphor. This is a covenant sealed in the most irrefutable currency there is, my own life, my own body, my own willingness to go through what no one should have to go through, and to come through the other side, so that you would know once and for all that the power over death, disease, despair, and darkness belongs not to those things. It belongs to me, and I give it freely to you. Right now, as you listen, I want you to become aware of your breathing. Just for a moment, feel the air moving in and out of you. Feel the fact that you are alive, that your heart is still beating, that you have not been abandoned, even when it felt like abandonment. There is a warmth I want you to notice. It may begin in your chest. It may begin in your hands. It may feel like something releasing, something that has been held tightly for a very long time beginning to loosen. That is not your imagination. That is not just emotion. That is my presence. And I need you to hear the final thing I have to say, because this is the part that will change the next chapter of your life. This is the part about the window, the moment, the divine appointment that does not come around every day. This is about what is available to you right now that may not feel this near again for a very long time. Don't step away from this. What comes next is your invitation. There are moments in a life when heaven leans closer than usual. Not because God loves you more in those moments. The love is always the same, always full, always without condition. But there are moments when the veil between what you can see and what exists becomes thinner. When the angels that are always present become almost audible. When the healing that is always available moves to the very surface of your skin and waits. This is one of those moments. I do not say this lightly. I do not say this to excite you for its own sake. I say this because it is true, and because you deserve to know the full weight of what is being offered to you right now in this hour, in this place, in this ordinary-looking moment that is anything but ordinary. Heaven is watching you listen to this. The angels assigned to your life, yes, yours, specifically and personally, the ones who have been with you since before you drew your first breath, they are present. They are leaning in. They know what is available to you right now. They know the decree that has been spoken over this moment. And they are waiting to see what you do with what you receive here. Do not let the simplicity of this fool you. Some of the greatest miracles in history happened in the most quiet, unassuming moments. A woman reached through a crowd and touched fabric. A blind man washed mud from his eyes in a pool. A leper walked away from a brief encounter and found his skin completely new. A thief on a cross in his final moments spoke 3 words, "Remember me, Lord," and I turned to him in the middle of my own suffering and said, "Today you will be with me in paradise." 3 words, in the last moments, and it was enough. You don't have to have your life together before you receive what heaven is offering you today. You don't have to have prayed perfectly, or served faithfully enough, or conquered the habits that shame you, or resolved the doubts that sometimes rise in the night. You come as you are, exactly as you are, because the healing I offer is not the reward at the end of a performance. It is the gift given at the beginning of a new chapter. Your new chapter begins today. I want to speak to the one who has been sick, the one whose body has been the site of a war you are exhausted from fighting. I want you to know that your body is not outside my reach. It was made by hands that know every cell, every nerve, every place where the chemistry has gone wrong. And those same hands, these hands with the marks in them, are extended toward you right now. Receive it. Don't demand to understand the mechanism. Don't wait until you can explain it. If you are somewhere you can do this, just open your hands gently wherever you are and receive. I want to speak to the one who has been grieving. Maybe you lost someone. Maybe you lost something. A life you had planned, a future that collapsed, a relationship that ended in a way that still doesn't make sense. The grief is real, I honor it. I don't ask you to perform happiness you don't feel. But I want you to know that the God who wept at the tomb of Lazarus also weeps with you in yours. And just as I called Lazarus out of what had been sealed and done and finished, I am calling something in you back to life today. Let it live again. I want to speak to the one who carries guilt, the one who has replayed a decision, a moment, a choice, so many times that the reel never stops. I need you to hear this, and I need you to receive it all the way down into the place where that guilt lives. It is finished. Not when you've suffered enough, not when you've paid enough, not when enough time has passed. It was finished on the cross. The price was paid. The account was settled. The debt was canceled, not theoretically. Actually, not someday, that day. And that day counts for today. That day counts for every day forward. You are forgiven. Say it to yourself right now. Say it in your mind. Say it against the voice that tells you you're not. You are forgiven. You are clean. You are new. And to the one who is simply tired, the one who hasn't been struck by some great dramatic catastrophe, but has simply been worn down by the relentless accumulation of ordinary hardship, a day after day of carrying weight, of holding things together, of being strong for everyone else, while quietly wondering if anyone will ever be strong for you. I see you. You don't have to be strong right now. You can lay it down right here, all of it, the responsibilities you've shouldered, the fear of what happens if you stop, the exhaustion you've become so used to that you've forgotten what rest actually feels like. You can lay it down at my feet, and I will give you what I promised. Not just comfort, not just sympathy, rest, real rest, the kind that restores the soul, not just the body. Come to me, all of you who are weary and heavy laden, and I will give you rest. That promise has not expired. It was not given for a specific era. It was not limited to a generation or a culture or a particular kind of suffering. It stands today with the same complete and undiminished power it had the moment I first spoke it. Come to me and rest. Now I want you to do something. Not because you have to. Not because your healing depends on your performance, but because receiving is an action. Faith without a physical response is like a hand extended that never reaches. So right now, in whatever room you are in your car, in your bedroom, in your living room, on your phone while the world moves around you, if you are able, place your hand gently on your chest, on the place where you most need to feel something change. And simply say, even in a whisper, even if you don't fully believe it yet, even if your voice shakes, say, I receive it. That's it. Not a long prayer, not perfect theology, just an open hand, just a willing heart. Just the posture of the bleeding woman who pressed through the crowd and believed that close was enough. Just the cry of Peter sinking in a storm who didn't have a speech prepared. Just a name on his lips and a desperate need in his heart. I am the same I was then. I am not a God of the past, locked into history, accessible only through memory. I am here, I am active, I am present in this room, in this moment, in the space between your last breath and your next one. And the healing I have already purchased for you, paid for by the marks in these hands, is moving toward you right now like a tide that has been building for your entire life and is finally reaching the shore. Let it in. Don't brace against it. Don't analyze it into distance. Don't let the voice of doubt talk you out of the thing your spirit already knows is real. Let it in. Let the warmth move through you. Let the peace settle over you like something being placed gently on your shoulders. Let the weight begin to lift. It will. It is already beginning. And when you feel it, and you will feel it, I want you to remember this moment. Write it down. Tell someone. Not to perform it, but because your testimony is your anchor. Because when the voice of doubt comes back around, and it will come back, it always does, you will need to remember the day that something shifted. The day the tide came in. The day heaven visited the ordinary room where you were sitting and spoke your name. Because I know your name. I knew it before you were born. I knew it before your parents chose it. I knew it before the world had any opinion about who you would become. I called you by name into existence, and I call you by name into healing, and I call you by name into the life you were always meant to live. The one that the weight has been obscuring. The one that the sickness and the grief and the guilt and the exhaustion have been covering like clouds covering the sun. The sun did not go away. It was there the whole time. And the clouds are breaking now. You came to this moment for a reason. There are no accidents in the plans of heaven. This day, this quiet space you found to listen, it was arranged. It was prepared long before you pressed play, before this day began, before this year started. There was a plan to reach you here, and you were reached. You are not the same as you were when this began. Something has moved. Something has shifted. You may not have the language for it yet. You may not be able to prove it to anyone. But somewhere in the deepest part of you, the part that existed before the world taught you to be afraid, something happened here. Take it with you, let it grow. Come back to this whenever the weight returns, because it will. And when it does, you will know where to come. You will know whose voice to listen for. You will know that the door that opened today was not a one-time event, but an invitation into a relationship that has no end. You are seen, you are known. You are loved with a love that predates time and outlasts it. You are not too broken. You are not too late. You are not forgotten. You are healed. You are free. You are my beloved. And today, this moment, this breath, is the beginning of something you do not yet have words for. But you will. Before I formed you in the womb, I knew you. Before you were born, I set you apart. And by his wounds, you are healed. And now this is your host coming back to you for just a moment, and I want to be real with you. If this message landed in your heart today, if something shifted while you were listening, if you felt even one sentence that felt like it was written specifically for you, that was not an accident. That was intentional. That was heaven finding you through a screen, through a quiet moment, through a video you almost didn't click on. Please do not keep this to yourself. Right now, think of one person in your life who is carrying something heavy, one person who is tired, one person who has been fighting something in silence. Share this video with them. Not with a long message, not with an explanation. Just send it and say, watch this. That one act could be the most important thing you do today. You have no idea what someone is walking through behind closed doors, and this message could be exactly what they needed to hear tonight. If this channel has been a place where your spirit has been fed, where your faith has been strengthened, where you have found something real, hit the subscribe button so you never miss what comes next. Every single video on this channel is created with one purpose: to make sure that no one who is hurting feels alone, and no one who is searching feels like God has forgotten them. And if this video specifically moved something in you today, tap the like button. It takes 1 second, and it tells the algorithm to put this message in front of someone else who needs it just as much as you did. Leave a comment below and simply write the word "received." That's your declaration. That's your moment of faith made visible. And when you read the comments of others who wrote the same word, you will realize something powerful. You were never alone in what you were carrying. There are thousands of people all around the world who sat exactly where you sat, felt exactly what you felt, and walked away from this moment changed. You are part of something bigger than you know. God bless you. We will see you in the next one.